Welcome to our presentation of New Enterprise Organizations. This comes directly from the MANA 7340 class, Management of High-Tech Organizations. This chapter 12 can be found in the book Technology Ventures from Idea to Enterprise, 5th edition. Let's discuss our agenda. First, we'll start by introducing New Enterprise Team and Organization Design Concept for sections 12.1 to 12.2. Next, we'll identify leadership and management roles and differences in sections 12.3 to 12.4. We'll follow that up by discussing recruiting and organizational cultures in sections 12.5 to 12.6. And we will conclude with managing assets, defining a learning organization, and knowledge management in sections 12.5 to 12.9. Let's begin. Our mission is to give a detailed presentation that helps you understand how to build and grow a high-performance new venture team. Learning how to create a successful team with the right talent will ensure business success. Our goal is to present this theory in a way that is engaging and relevant. We want to provide takeaways that you can apply in the real world. So how would you build an effective team to launch and grow your new venture? Let's look at a quote from Charles Schulz. In life, it's not where you go, it's who you travel with. Consider Schulz's comment. How do individuals in a team help shape the success of a new business? A good team matters. By building a world-class team, new ventures have a much higher chance of success. A member of the group must possess expertise, management, and leadership skills in specific areas. Examples might be the roles of CEO, founders, board of directors, and full-time employees. For example, CEO Andy Jassy or Amazon founder Jeffrey Bezos. And how about the board of directors that comprised of Keith Alexander, Edith Cooper, Jamie Gorelick, Daniel P. Huttenlocher, and Andrew Ng. The team should only consist of 2 to 6 people. Follow Amazon's 2-pizza rule. The 2-pizza rule says 2 pizzas should be able to feed the entire team. An effective team shares leadership and ownership of team tasks, continuously communicates, understands the task and purpose, is comfortable with disagreement, and decides by coming to a consensus, is open to feedback, collaboration, and accountability, and extends their knowledge by learning. What would one of these practices look like in a team? An effective team can be directly traced back to ownership. Ownership means leaders are owners. They think long-term and don't sacrifice long-term value for short-term results. They act on behalf of the entire company, beyond just their own team, and they never say, no, that's not my job. Teams should compete and generate different ideas while maintaining freedom and open communication. Does your current employer ensure that this is happening? And if not, how can this be addressed? Designing an organization for success. Designing an organization well will contribute to success. Firms can use these 9 elements on the right to help get them started. Good design defines roles, responsibilities, and communication in a firm. Designing an organization for success also takes into account things that organizational design should consist of. Overall, a firm should strive for an organic organization or one that is flexible and adapts to change. Great leaders make meaningful impacts. Leaders are crucial to entrepreneurial ventures. They influence and motivate people to work, and together they achieve a common goal by giving them knowledge, power, and tools to do so. 7 traits of leaders include authenticity, consistent actions and words, decisiveness, willing to act on limited, imperfect information, focus, creating a priority list and sticking to it, care, building relationships and social capital, people skills, offering helpful feedback and good coaching to all team members, communication, stimulating conversation and communicating vision, and continuous improvement, keeping learning and energy flowing in the firm while retaining optimism. What leadership traits do you already have? What leadership traits do you want to work on? Let's discuss styles of leadership. There's supporting style, where leaders does not only focus on goals, but uses supportive behavior to bring out employee skills. A delegating style, where leader is less directive and facilitates employees' confidence. A coaching style, where the leader focuses on goal achievement and gives encouragement to subordinates. And a directing style. A leader provides instructions about what and how goals are to be achieved and supervises carefully. A leader's behavior is both directive and supportive, directive being a task function and supportive a function of relationship. Effective leaders adopt all four leadership styles depending on the situation. The leader of a new technology venture would adopt the direct support style at the beginning, but later on, once the company is growing, they will adopt all four. Great leaders are resilient and have the ability to adapt, handle adversity and learn from new experiences, and rely on core values to adapt to any conflict. An effective leader should also have emotional intelligence. Examples are self-awareness, like the ability to understand one's emotions, motivations, and how they affect others. Social awareness, being empathetic towards others' emotions and social considerations within the firm. Self-management, the ability to control one's emotions and act with integrity. Relationship management, inspiration, management, conflict management, and teamwork are examples of this. What effects might we see in a company if a leader lacks emotional intelligence? Now let's look at management. Management consists of budgets, organizational skills, hiring, planning, day-to-day operations to keep the organization running smoothly. Manager goals ensure that all business practices are completed correctly and on time. Implement strategy to carry out organizational goals, and grow business relationships by networking and connecting with other organizations. Good managers are prepared, frugal, and honest. Most good managers motivate their people by offering them opportunities for achievement, recognition for achievement, the work itself, responsibility, and growth for advancement. The chart shows first-line managers, middle managers, and top managers in this pyramid. Manager success. Managers take staff talent and bring them to the next level, improving their performance. Good communication skills provide employees with continuous feedback and guidance on their performance. Good managers will consistently run trial programs, pilot studies, and other experiments to gain a better understanding of the organization and continuously improve leadership and management skills. Let's take a knowledge assessment question. Overall, what do managers need to do in their decision-making abilities? Which can lead to better management? A, run trial programs, B, pilot studies, C, small experiments, or all of the above? The answer was D, all of the above. Overall, managers need to do all these things to result in the best version of management for their firm. Recruiting and retention. Recruiting and hiring qualities are important. Organizations need to be clear about the pool of applicants they want to hire from. New hires should be flexible, self-motivated, have experience and technical knowledge. The success of a new organization or business venture will consist of hiring individuals who can build trust while working together to debate assumptions and share information in a space that is open to different opinions. Participating in internships could potentially lead to a full-time position within an organization. And retention of employees consists of few key elements: compensation, work design, training, networks, and promotion and advancement. Recruiting and retention. Here are 6 principles for retaining loyal people and partners. Preach what you practice. Communicate the vision, goals, and values of the organization, and practice what you preach. Partners must win also. Enable your vendors and partners to participate in a win-win venture. Be selective in your hiring. Select people with values consistent with the firm. Membership on the team is selective. Use teams of talented people. Use small teams for most tasks and give them the power to decide. Provide simple rules for decision-making so teams can act. Provide high rewards for the right results. Reward long-term values and profitability. Providing solid compensation benefits and ownership. Listen hard and talk straight. Use honest two-way communication and build trust. Tell people how are they doing and where they stand. Organizational culture is important, consisting of things like shared values, norms, and practices that guide behavior. Organizational culture shapes identity, decision-making, and team dynamics. Influences at startups adapt, collaborate, and grow. Social capital. Let's discuss the types and benefits. Social capital's dimensions are cognitive, structural, and rational, as defined by value that one gets from networks and relationships. An example of bonding would be internal ties. An example of bridging would be across groups. And an example of linking would be external to the environment. Social capital can boost trust, knowledge flow, and access to opportunities. How to build culture and capital knowledge. Leaders set the culture tone and the collaboration standards. Promote cross-functioning teams, transparency, and recognition. The outcome will be agile, cohesive, and innovative teams. Knowledge assets. Resources might be skills, intellectual property, and processes. There are two primary types of knowledge: experience-based versus explicit-based or documented processes. Knowledge is vital for innovation and competitiveness. Knowledge management process involves creating to promote R&D and the learning culture. Store, using tools at their disposal. Share, foster collaboration and mentorship. And apply, integrate into services and products. Maximizing knowledge value. The below table shows managing knowledge in a technological venture. The role, the value, and the plan, as long as what it improves. Challenges like silos, turnover, or poor documentation abound. Solutions come from learning cultures and leadership support. The result is continuous innovation and efficiency amongst the startup. Learning organization. A learning organization is skilled at creating, acquiring, and sharing new knowledge, as well as adapting its activities to reflect new insights. A learning organization needs to be skilled at systematic problem solving, experimentation with new approaches, learning from their own experience and past history, learning from the experience and best practices of others in firms, and transferring the knowledge quickly and efficiently throughout the organization. A learning firm adapts itself to learning and measures opportunities, initiates change, and instills in employees a desire for innovation. A learning organization, we see technology ventures create and acquire knowledge and share this knowledge amongst its staff. Ultimately, a learning organization creates innovation and new knowledge that is used by the technology venture to broadly develop new products and services. Knowledge management means the organization that develops the right set of incentives for its employees to work collaboratively and share the knowledge will be successful in its knowledge management effort. Knowledge management involves fostering innovation by encouraging a free flow of ideas, enhancing employee retention rates, enabling companies to have tangible competitive advantages, and cutting costs. Another aspect of a learning organization is the entrepreneurial learning process. First, identify the problem. Next, analyze the problem. Then generate potential solutions. Select a solution and create a plan. Now implement the selected plan. Evaluate the outcome and learn from those results. Organizational learning as a company is organizations that engage in complex processes such as anticipating, perceiving, envisioning, and problem solving in order to learn. Another aspect of learning organizations are process improvement projects. These produce two types of learning: conceptual learning, where the process of acquiring a better understanding of the cause and effect relationships through use of statistics and scientific method to develop theories. The other is operational learning. That's the process of implementing a theory and observing positive results. Learning organizations. For learning to be widely used, they must spread knowledge quickly and completely through a firm. New ideas carry maximum impact when they are shared broadly rather than retained by a few select people. A number of mechanisms enable this process: written, oral, and visual reports, knowledge bases, personnel rotation programs, education and training programs, and formal and informal networks that exist both inside and outside the company. New ventures must strive to set aside time for sharing and reflection. Boundaries that inhibit the flow of knowledge must be reduced so learning is fully shared. Learning must be high on the firm's agenda for the startup to be successful. Let's discuss the learning organization structure. It needs to structure itself to meet budgets and schedules with flexibility while creating innovative products and services that meet change continually in the marketplace. A properly managed learning organization can enable a firm to meet the challenge of a changing environment by constantly reshaping its competitive advantage, even in the case of a rapidly shifting marketplace. Let's look at knowledge. Knowledge is stored in documents, databases, and people's minds. Knowledge is created in the social process for learning. Knowledge is continually shared by people and embedded in the business processes of the firm. Innovation flows through these processes as new knowledge is created and new opportunities are identified and seized. Let's look at Intuit, a learning organization leader. Intuit has an idea collaboration portal that allows employees to share concepts, receive support, and suggestions/feedback to reinvent their product on a continual basis. Intuit fosters a culture of experimentation. This gives employees a sense of ownership and cooperation, resulting in the examination of assumptions and generation of feedback that leads to company-wide success. Altogether, this reduces the fear of failure, resulting in consistent yearly growth. Let's take a look at the overview of disadvantages and advantages that come with leading and implementing a new venture. On the advantage side, we have innovation and creativity, leads to positive financial outcomes, flexibility, and teamwork opportunities. Disadvantages might include uncertainty, the high risk for startups, intense market competition, or unpredictable outcomes. Please scan the QR code to your left for the interactive activity and engage with what you learned by taking this activity and completing it. Here's our references for the material we presented today.
Chapter 12, The New Enterprise Organization. This chapter shows us the steps or things that must be done to create a successful venture. It walks us through several key areas, such as forming a team, choosing the right structure for the organization, how to develop leadership skills, how to create a positive work culture, how to manage knowledge, and how to develop an adaptable team. All these elements are important aspects required for an idea to become a successful business. A key component of any startup is people. In order to have a strong team, individuals must bring different skills and ideas while also sharing the same values and goals as a startup. A good team works well together, communicates openly, and trusts one another. In a startup, things can change very rapidly, and everyone on the team must be on the same page, regardless of any changes that occur. Having the right team in place makes it easier to solve issues, innovate, and respond to challenges that arise. Another key component is how the business will be structured. The best structures are the ones that can grow and adapt to an ever-evolving company. A primary goal is to create a system that functions effectively. The responsibilities are clearly defined, and decisions are made efficiently and smoothly because there's an emphasis on communication. Flexibility helps the company adjust to new opportunities and any issues that arise without falling apart. The next section discusses leadership and management and the distinction between the two. Leadership is defined by someone who sets a vision and has the requisite capability to inspire others around them, whereas management is defined as the capability to handle the day-to-day operations required to successfully run the company. In a tech company, it is important for the entrepreneur to possess both of these abilities. They must motivate the team around them, as well as keeping them focused on the big picture and the overarching goal. Still, there is a definite requirement for ensuring that the daily tasks are being done and that the business continues to run smoothly. Both of these things are needed if the business is to stay on track and be successful. Next, we identify the importance of recruiting and keeping talent on the team. This is a major challenge that all startups face. Hiring the right people with the necessary skills or talent, while also aligning with the startup's culture and company goals, is another crucial step needed to retain that talent. A solid strategy for retaining talent is to make the employees feel valued, but leave room for them to grow within the company. Organizational culture plays a key role in determining the success of any organization, most notably startups. Positive organizational culture promotes collaboration, open communication, and innovation. Trust and communication must be at the very core of that culture in order to build a truly successful firm. Trust strengthens relationships and allows teams to operate with transparency and a shared sense of purpose. Social capital, the network of relationships built inside and outside the company, is equally important. Types of social capital include structural, relational, and cognitive dimensions that all contribute to a startup's ability not only to access resources and share knowledge, but to adapt quickly to changes in the business environment. It's important for founders to lead by example and create a culture where both values and behavior are closely aligned with the company's mission. Knowledge remains one of the most valuable assets a startup has. It isn't just about having information, but knowing how to effectively turn that information into value. Managing knowledge effectively helps the firm innovate, operate efficiently, and respond to competition. Knowledge embedded in routines, systems, and people becomes a form of intellectual capital that is impossible to imitate. The following 4 steps are key for managing intellectual capital: understanding the role of knowledge within the firm, identifying the expertise that creates value, creating a plan to invest and protect that knowledge, and continuously improving how knowledge is both shared and created. For new ventures, especially in the tech industry, gathering and applying knowledge effectively, both inside and outside the firm, is essential to gaining long-term competitive advantage. A learning organization is one that continuously creates, shares, and applies knowledge to improve and adapt. These firms are skilled at using feedback, reflection, and collaboration to turn experience into success. It can truly be said that learning drives innovation, supports faster decision-making, and helps companies stay competitive in ever-changing markets. For this to work most effectively, the culture must promote trust, open communication, and the sharing of knowledge broadly across all levels of the firm. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed our presentation.